Hello and welcome. This is Point Blanc. I'm Chiguvare. Thank you for joining us once again. A new opposition party for Zimbabwe. That's today's show. The People's Progressive Party. The founder of the party, Pastor Timothy Chiguvare, says the PPP has geared itself up to provide humble leadership for Zimbabwe that has a great love and passion for its people, regardless of color, race, or creed, has its nation at heart, is prepared to advance the dreams and future of the country, its youth, and the ability to turn Zimbabwe around and back to being the breadbasket of Africa and a true democracy. Well, a very tall order, it seems, for a country that has been struggling for over a decade now to achieve just that. And we're privileged here on Point Blanc to have Pastor Chiguvare, the founder of the People's Progressive Party, with us. Pastor, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank God to be here.
Pastor, I guess before we start talking about the PPP and its ideals and objectives, the question would be, who is Pastor Chiguvare? So we can try and understand why you have decided that Zimbabwe needs another opposition party.
I am Zimbabwean, and I'm proud to be Zimbabwean. I have been in Zimbabwe since I was born, and I started businesses in Zimbabwe, and I did very well. At one stage, I was a victim of state-sponsored terror, and I lost a big business. I was a big employer. I had about 3,000 employees in my businesses, and they are not at the moment at work. And we've watched a lot of people struggling because of political and economic crisis. And I have been a strong supporter of MDC since it was formed. And because of some mistakes that have taken place from the time when elections were announced and then changes started taking place, I then thought it's important for us to form a new political party because I felt the people of Zimbabwe have been betrayed. The people of Zimbabwe voted, but after voting, they did not get the results that they expected. And when the results were announced, we also discovered that the MDC itself failed, because they were supposed to ask the people when they were invited for talks by the SADC. A referendum was a requirement because it's the people who voted. A say from them was expected to say, can ZANU-PF and MDC work together?
Let's return to you, Pastor. You fled Zimbabwe back in 2003. As you said, you were a card-carrying member of the MDC. Just tell us, what made you decide then to leave Zimbabwe and come to South Africa?
I was tired of political conspiracies. A lot of things have happened. I was almost about to lose my life. And I'm lucky to be alive. And when I left the country, I also watched a lot of things happening behind my back. I even lost my mother and a number of relatives. And as I speak right now, we have got millions of youth who have also left the country, which shows or which speaks volumes of what is happening in Zimbabwe. Because a country that has no youth, has no future. We have got more than 5 million youth who are out of the country, which is the working class of the country. And that affects our economy. And that's
Pastor, let's go back. I really just want to paint a picture and try and understand. You know, you mentioned your mother dying, and she died of cholera. So even though that you have been in South Africa, you have been experiencing what's been going on in Zimbabwe and also here in South Africa. It was back last year, there was talk of an orphanage and a hospice school that you wanted to do here in South Africa. So when you came here, you continued with the work that you used to do in Zimbabwe?
Yes. I continued doing what I was doing in Zimbabwe. I started businesses, and I'm busy at the moment putting together institutions that will take care of our people who are here. We have got a big number of young girls who are getting themselves in health hazard activities. So we would like to put them together so that we change their lives. And we have got unions. We've got a union for the struggling women of Zimbabwe. We've got a union of the struggling youth of Zimbabwe. We've got a union of the unemployed. All these unions, when we put them together, they give us about 90% of the population. And the reason why we are putting all these unions together is because we want to prove that we can change our people's lives.
So now then we move on to this point. Why did you decide, with such a busy schedule that you already have, dealing with the diaspora this side and also the local communities, what made you decide that it was time to form another opposition party in Zimbabwe?
We have seen leaders failing because leaders are there to change people's lives. They are there to be problem solvers, not to create problems. We have seen a number of things happening. I've mentioned earlier that a referendum was a requirement. People at the moment in my country, they are not happy with what is happening. If you look at how they are struggling when they come to South Africa, going back to Zimbabwe, they are being charged a lot of money to carry what they buy in South Africa in order for them to survive. If we go back to history, I owned a big hypermarket in my country. I made a promise to my people that there shall be no time for them to go to any neighboring country to buy any essential commodities. They must find everything in their country because Zimbabwe has got everything.
You know, your party says, you know, to understand that there are two real forces that govern countries, and that one is the economy, the other is international opinion. Looking at the current unity government, which has put two opposition parties together, are you saying that they're not dealing with these issues? Looking at SADC is trying to get involved, the EU is trying to get involved. How do you feel they're not meeting those two forces that you say you know, they form or they govern a country?
Our name is finished when we talk of our name Zimbabwe. The moment you mention your name, wherever you go, it doesn't matter how smart you are, it doesn't matter what car you're driving, it doesn't matter what business you're running. Our people, our youth, our working class are victims of cheap labor. I've been to some farms in South Africa where they are being paid 20 rand a day. I've been to the United Kingdom. We have got doctors working in restaurants. Some had ambitious dreams. All their ambitious dreams have been crushed. When we talk in terms of international opinion, our industry, the mining industry is dead. The agricultural industry is dead. The tourism industry is dead. Now, when we talk in terms of security for investors, there's no security. If we are to compare Zimbabwe and Botswana, Botswana hasn't got a single refugee in any foreign country. If we look at how struggling our people are doing in South Africa and other foreign countries, it's very painful.